Good evening. Please join me for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Abernathy,
Present.
Bush,
Here.
Buxton,
Here.
Dauphin,
Here.
Levesque,
Here.
Nguyen,
Here.
Rogers, absent, Sykes,
Here.
Tedford,
Here.
Wendis,
Here.
Winkler. Here. Your Honor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there anybody here for citizens forum? Come on up.
Mike Winkler, 20 Gaudier Drive in Vernon. I was not planning to come tonight until I watched the video of the last meeting. Last meeting, I showed, reading from the charter, that the council is the real power in Vernon, that we have a strong council, weak mayor form of government. During that meeting, however, the mayor said we have a strong mayor, weak council form of government. Since the plain wording of the charter seems to not have that effect, perhaps if we compare the powers of the mayor to those of a strong mayor, we'll see the difference. The characteristic power of a strong mayor is a veto power over town council action, like the governor has over the legislature. The mayor can veto town council action in a strong mayor form of government. Mayor Champagne has no such veto power. The word veto isn't in the charter. Whatever the council approves is the policy of Vernon. A strong mayor can pick his staff without interference and however they wish. They can choose people that they are compatible with. But the mayor of Vernon can't do that. The mayor inherits a staff. The mayor can fire a staff person, but a simple majority of the town council, according to the charter, can overturn the mayor and put the person back on the job. It doesn't seem like a strong mayor form of government if a simple majority can overrule the mayor in an area where he does have some power. In Chapter 12, Section 6, it says, "The town council shall be deemed the budget-making authority and the legislative body of the town." The so-called mayor's budget is merely a recommendation to the town council. The mayor cannot spend money in an emergency. An emergency appropriation requires a 3/4 vote of the council. The mayor cannot appoint anyone to anything without the approval of the town council. So the mayor is hemmed in every way you turn, the mayor is hemmed in. One other way to look at it, if you subscribe to the belief that people get paid what they're worth, we pay the mayor roughly $35,000 a year. I was the chair of the committee that boosted the mayor's salary. I would imagine that we pay the town administrator 5 times that amount. That'd be a guess. So the mayor is not a big deal in Vernon. A lot of our mayors were a pharmacist, a doctor, a lawyer, and kept their full-time jobs. A couple were retirees who had little else to do. But it's not the power position we think it is. So why don't we know this naturally? Because we've had 18 years of town councils that are dominated by Republicans and 16 years of Republican mayors. So that gradually the Republican council members ceded their power to the mayor and just did as the mayor wished. And I would like to return to a time when the council exerted its power and its will. On one other issue, it appears that Chris Dennell and the mayor and Senator Gordon were all in the patch talking about the recent Hartford Healthcare purchase of Rockville Hospital and Manchester Memorial Hospital. And they talked about how it would lead to continuity. Well, yes, continuity. It's the exact same deal that Prospect had with the state, which means that the hospital inpatient beds, which are now only psychological, can be transferred from Rockville General Hospital to Manchester Memorial Hospital with 30 days notice. And the emergency room, which is the only thing left after that, can be closed after 3 years. So the continuity we have is that we're at danger of losing Rockville General Hospital. What would it take to stop that? Well, the mayor would have to organize everybody, the surrounding towns, this town, all our legislators in
Mike,
all
that
those
was your
towns,
message. Your time's up.
and try to change the Office of Healthcare Access's decision. Thank you.
Anybody else? Come on up. Name and address.
Thank you. My name is Mark Polina, 33 Snipsick Street. The reason I come before you tonight originally was in tonight's agenda with respect to what you're going to be voting on, which is Section M, the request for the Democratic Town Committee to appoint Jeremy Geller for the Town Council seat vacated by Aaron Neves. And realizing that the Democrats do have that legitimate right to do so, I'm just finding that I was sitting back and watching this meeting live last 2 weeks ago, and while Ariana was voted in November, she vacated the seat only one meeting after being granted the seat, and there could be personal reasons, and I don't know of them, nor have I heard of them. But her proposed replacement is Jeremy Geller, and he was a Democrat who ran for mayor and was defeated in the last election. With so many Democrats that are skilled and qualified to fill her seat, why him? Well, I guess we can ponder that. But sometimes it feels that the voters are being done a disservice because they voted Ms. Neves in, and they haven't had the opportunity to see her perform, or that, you know, they voted for her and now she isn't going to be there. So to me, as an outsider looking in, it seems like a little bit like a bait and switch. And so, you know, I'm concerned that the voters of Vernon are given a disservice. And what's the greater question, as far as I'm concerned, is this will be the blueprint for the future of the Democrat majority that's on the town council. How will they operate in the future? And who will they replace next in the future? I believe in finishing commitments. When I was growing up, if I played softball, if I played soccer, even if I was disenchanted and didn't want to continue, I stayed with it. But as I said earlier, it's the right of the Democrats to nominate a candidate of their choosing. And so I'm asking the Republican town council members, while they can vote their choice, I think they should vote no. It won't affect the outcome. It will happen, but it makes it clear that this behavior hasn't gone unnoticed by the public. And people do watch what goes on in the town council. And the prior speaker to me talked about the Rockville General Hospital. And honestly, it's been great that we've had for all these years. But with what's going on in the past and consolidation across various industries, I think that if Rockville General Hospital, despite the best efforts of the mayor and others. If it lasts 5 years in town, I'd be surprised. We need local agency, and it's just one example of the changes economically and politically that, it's no longer a realistic thing to hope that we'll have a hospital in the future. And I appreciate what the mayor's done, and he's put a lot of effort into it, but I think the writing's on the wall. And it's sad to say. But anyway, I digress. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Kalina, I would just like to inform you that Mrs. Nevis intended to carry out her duties, but not that anyone actually needs to know this, but when your job notifies you you're going to be transferred out of state, you do the right thing. So maybe it would have been good to ask us first.
I just said the personal reasons, but I haven't heard.
Anybody else for Citizens Forum? No? Okay. I'm going to close Citizens Forum. We're going to do a couple switches tonight that we're going to vote on first. So what we want to do is, let's walk through it here.
Okay.
We're going to move new business number 1 to next, followed by an additional agenda item, which is the executive session number 1. So we have to vote as a council to vote the number 1 and number 2. We're going to move those up to the front. Any questions on either one of those? All right, all those in favor? Okay, so we're going to move those. Karen, it's not a motion, it's just a switching of the order to unanimous vote. All right, so let's go on to new business number 1.
Proposed motion, resolve the Town of Vernon, Town Council hereby endorses the nomination of Jeremy Geller to replace and complete the term vacated by Ariana Neves. Mr. Geller's term will commence on December 16th, 2025 and ends November 7th, 2027.
Second.
Who seconded that first? Phyllis seconded. All right, any questions? All right, all those in favor? Unanimous. Okay. We're going to take a quick 5-minute, and Mr. Geller is going to be sworn in. Karen, why don't you just do it right up here? You got to grab a microphone too. There you go.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeremy Geller,
I, Jeremy Geller,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
or solemnly and sincerely affirm,
or solemnly and sincerely affirm,
as the case may be,
as the case may be,
that I will faithfully discharge,
that I will faithfully discharge,
according to law,
my
duties as town council member
duties as town council member
of the town of Vernon
of the town of Vernon
to the best of my abilities,
to the best of my abilities.
effective Tuesday,
Effective Tuesday,
December 16th, 2025.
December 16th, 2025.
So help me God,
So help me God,
or upon penalty of perjury.
or upon penalty of perjury.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is, I just.
I'm signing here. You can put his name tag up now.
It's right in front of
It's right in front. You want to turn this name tag up? Or you couldn't just reach over the top.
She's
Just initial.
Sorry?
Just check off there. I'm giving you the ethics ordinance.
Oh, okay.
Yep, no, that's fine.
Both or just one?
Just
There we
one.
go.
So that's yours.
Thank you.
Fine.
Oh, and
And this
that's
is,
yours.
thank you. And this is the
Oh.
code book, okay,
Thank you.
which will be updated in January. So,
Okay, thanks. I should submit this, which is my resignation from the Conservation Commission.
okay, we'll see you then tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
All right, have a seat. Okay, so first thing we're going to vote on is adding the additional agenda item. Okay, so we're going to take a vote on adding the additional agenda item first. Okay. All those in favor? Unanimous. Okay, go ahead.
Executive Session 1. The Town Council, pursuant to the authority given in the Connecticut General Statute 1-200, 6D, hereby moves to go into executive session to discuss negotiations between the Town of Vernon and Prospect, and further invites Town Administrator John W. Kleinhans to attend.
Seconded by Jim. I think we all know what it's about. So let's just go to the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous. All right. We're going to go to my office. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Marianne?
Proposed motion, the town council hereby authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne and/or his designee to negotiate a tax settlement with Prospect and MPT on behalf of the town of Vernon.
Second.
Seconded by Mike. All those in favor? Unanimous.
Oh. How is unanimous too?
All right. So we're going to back. Let's back. I think we're back to my notes.
Yeah.
What happened to my notes? Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank everyone who assisted with the Wreaths Across America on Saturday. We appreciate their hard work and their planning to honor our veterans during the national event. It was cold. It took a while to warm up. On the table this evening is an invitation from the Vernon Community Network and neighborhood advocates inviting everyone to a bowling party with the Vernon Police Department on Thursday, December 18th, 2025, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the TKB Club, 1 Vernon Avenue. Reminding you to check out the holiday lights at Henry Park. The Parks and Recreation Department has done a wonderful job giving us a fantastic display again this year. The next town council meeting is January 20th at 7:30 p.m. No meeting on January 6th, 2026. I want everybody to enjoy their holiday. And afterwards, they're setting up my office for us to get together for a little snack. So please stick around. It's all I have for you. Oh,
Can I have something?
the Santa's house. Yep. Go ahead, Mike.
Just a reminder, tomorrow night, the Santa House will be open 4 to 7, and Saturday from 10 to 2, and that'll be the final day before he journeys back home and gets ready for the big night.
All right. If you don't have
Ending our 10th year already.
If you haven't brought your kids or grandkids or friends to see Santa, it's a great little house that reminds me when we were kids. It was just an A-frame.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going there as much and as often as I could for my free candy cane. All right, let's move on to consent. I think we're going to pull. Were we pulling one of them? Phyllis, which one are we pulling? We're going to pull number 5. So everybody cross out number 5. We're pulling that. Are there any others that's the only one though? Okay. All right, go ahead.
Motion to accept consent agenda minus number 5.
Second.
Seconded by Mike. All right, are we pulling any others? All in favor? Abstain? One abstention, Patricia. All right. Let's move on. Skip number 1. We already did that one. New business number 1. What's that? Oh, I thought you wanted it off. Or did you want to talk about it? Oh,
Okay.
you know what? There was a confusion. She said we were pulling one off of the agenda. But it was because we didn't get the letter that she wasn't going to be involved anymore.
She actually sent a letter July 24th. She sent an email resigning for personal reasons.
Okay.
So I don't know how somebody who's been off for that many months she wasn't asked to sit again. So she was confused and I was confused. And maybe something in the process. Honestly, I had the thought, maybe we ask our board and commission chair people to check, are you interested, rather than the town having to do that. So if the chair of planning and zoning says your term is ending, are you interested in?
I think the whole process has to be looked at again. And because other people had talked to me about some things. And I think doing it at the meetings and having the department heads, because I was trying to get information from the department heads, but these all expire and needed to be redone. Yeah. So I think what's going to happen for the future is it's almost like you said, but we're going to have the town liaison looking over that and keeping track of all.
Oh, good. Because that would also give us more time, all of us, to look for replacements.
Yeah.
So
there's plenty of spots out there if you know anybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, Patricia.
New business. I gave a special thing because she pulled it, but we're not. We already voted to close that. Yep. All right. Let's move on to new business number 1 is done. Let's move on to new business number 2.
Proposed motion, the town council hereby authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne to apply for and receive the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection of the State of Connecticut control of aquatic invasive species, and further authorizes Mayor A. Champagne or his designee to sign any and all documents.
Laura, second by Laura. Just so anybody that doesn't know, I have hearing aids, and I have to zone in because I'm still trying to get used to them, and it's been a year, I think. What? Oh, I kept pushing this button and realized I kept turning it off.
Yeah.
And then I somehow turned my phone on, and I'm like, oh, well. All right. So this is okay. So you're going to see 2 of these tonight. This one is the state-owned properties. So the state owns a bunch of water in the town of Vernon, and then we own some of the bodies of water in Vernon. So this grant is for the invasives for the state-owned bodies of water. Okay, and a lot of they get milfoil and all these other things get into the water. For the longest time, the town of Vernon, when I first came on, we actually had a budget item, and we still have a budget item to take care of this in case we don't get this. But if you don't get in there early and eliminate this, it can take over your whole lake. So this one is for the grant for the state-owned ones. All right. Any questions, Mike?
Through you, Mayor. So the total grant being submitted is $75,000, and we provide a 25% match.
Right.
In the amount of $18,750. What is the partners of the in-kind services to fulfill the match. What is that?
So the in-kind services is, I believe it's the volunteers at the lake. Yeah. So the volunteers at Bolton Lake, there's a whole group of volunteers up there that will go out and monitor the lake and take care of the lake and do things. So their hours are counted.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
And there's other volunteers that do stuff as well.
Oh,
But
awesome.
some of it, we also have money set aside. So the money we have in the budget, if we have, I'm going to throw a number out there. If we have 25,000 and we take that and turn it into 75,000, to me, that's worth it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the in-kind stuff, so you'll see in-kind in a bunch of the things like our trail system. There's a lot of in-kind because we have a great volunteer group there. Our lakes. There's more than just that. There's others as well. But
Okay.
that's what it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Phyllis?
Because I am not real clear on exactly where the aquatics are, does that involve any of the town's contingent? Will there be any monies from any of the other towns? I don't know if this is Bolton Lake or.
So Bolton Lake has the largest volunteer group. Okay, and every hour they spend there, it there's a cost to that. So their in-kind service, instead of paying $25,000, their volunteer work. And let me tell you, when something pops up, they're calling us, and anything they can take care of, they do. Yep. All right. Anybody else on this one? Patricia.
So we're authorizing permission to apply for the grant, correct?
Right. That's all we're doing.
When will the council be informed that we received the grant?
You're going to see I think we put it right on the Facebook, right on the, right. What's that? Right. But normally it goes right onto our website too.
So the council will be informed via the website?
A lot of times that's the first place you're going to see it, but we'll let you know.
Thank you.
I think I know this. What's an invasive aquatic species?
So when somebody has a boat, they go out into a lake that's infected and they don't empty their boat or clean their boat out. They bring the boat to our lake, or a bird brings something from a different lake and it doesn't belong there. Milfoil is one of them. So milfoil will take over the lake.
Okay.
If you ever see a picture from Florida where it's just green all over, it's kind of like that. That's what'll happen.
Okay.
So we don't want that. We want clear water. We can swim in the water. We're not getting tangled up in these roots or anything like that. So that's why we treat it. Sometimes the bacteria gets high, but we test for that too, and then we shut the water down if we have to. Yeah. That's usually in the hot summers and the lake's real low and the flows down. All right. Any other questions on this grant? All right. All those in favor? Unanimous. All right. Number 3.
The town council hereby authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne to apply for and receive the Connecticut Humanities Grant in the partnership with the Vernon Historical Society to support a traveling exhibit as part of the America 250 commemoration. I can't even say the word. And the town council further authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne and his designee to sign any and all documents for the same.
Or hold on. Or is designee, not
Or
the
is-
end.
Or his designee.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Seconded by Laura. We're gonna make. She wants us both to sign it. All right. So this is a grant. We have a celebration for the 250th. We have a committee that's been operating for about a year now, and they're coming up with different things that we can do in the coming year to celebrate our 250th anniversary. And this is just one of those, and we're gonna apply for the grant, and hopefully we get it, and it'll just be another addition to our celebration next year. Go ahead. Hold on.
And just through the mayor, this is in collaboration with the administration as well as Gene Luddy, which is why the Historical Society is involved in this. So it's been a good collaboration as well. So
We have a good relationship with them. All right. Anybody else? All those in favor? Unanimous. Number 4.
The town council hereby authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne to apply for and receive the State of Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection Control of Aquatic Invasive Species Grant, and the town council further authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne or his designee to sign any and all documents for the same.
Seconded by Mike. So this is the town-owned bodies of water. All right. That's the only difference between the two. All right. Mike.
Through you, Mayor. I know over the past years, we've always applied for this. We generally do receive this, right?
No.
No?
Nope.
So it's not guaranteed.
Right. That's why we keep money in the budget.
Do you know how many, well, I've been doing this 8+ years now. Do you know how many times we've received it over the past few years?
We didn't last year. We did the year before, and then Deep asked us to, or we had to hold off on applying for, like putting it in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So they took the money back. They told us to wait until a certain date. We waited, but they took the money back. So
Hit or miss.
you just never know. You just never know.
Thank you.
Patricia.
Thank you. So, is it my understanding that when this town of Vernon applies for these grants, it helps to alleviate the tax burden to our residents?
That's exactly what it is.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? All those in favor? Unanimous. Number 5. No proposal. Hold on. Let me. So this RFP we're talking about that we put in here, that RFP was voted on and passed by this council in the last session, and we're working on it right now. So this isn't an RFP that's out. It's actually an RFP that we're working on. And what it is doing is evaluating the 4 buildings on this block, including Citizens Block, because there was some pointing that was not done on Citizens Block in the alleyway. All right. And because we're putting scaffolding up in the alleyway for the old senior center, it's cheaper that we did it this way, added it into this. The other part of that is, look, the main purpose of the RFP was to look at our vault downstairs. So as many of you don't know, we have to expand our vault downstairs in the clerk's office because we ran out of room. And we're moving the probate court out of the town hall into Citizens Block. And then the idea is we're going to bust through the wall and expand that vault all the way to the end, hopefully getting us another 50 to 60, hopefully more years out of the vault. And that's going to be expensive, and it's going to be a lot of work. So because of the weight of that, we brought in this as part of the RFP. We were looking at the structural to make sure that everything in the basement will be able to hold the vault. And we're looking at the 2 roofs that have the slate, and coming up with a program so that that's on a constant repair in the end. And the only thing left at Citizens Block right now is the walkway out back we just finished. They had to make the railing, and that's not going to be done until January 1st. And then on the roof, we needed a system that would protect any workers that go up and work on the air conditioning or any of the mechanicals on the roof. And they were talking about putting a fence up on the roof just to protect them, but instead they're going to use a harness type, which is the other way. And then so they got 1, 2, and the last one is that when the hatchway went in, it's facing so that when you go up the ladder, you're like this far from the edge. So according to code, you have to turn that 180 degrees. So both of those will be done January, right? So everything they should be out of here January 15th. Now I brought in all the officials that have gone in and found anything new, and I told them, Go do your inspection, get all your people over there, do all your inspections. I do not want any more surprises. Okay? Because every time I turn around, it's like I'm being surprised by something. So they did, and these are the last 3 on the checklist. As soon as the roof one is done, we can let everybody into the building except the kids. The railing coming off where the school bus will drop the kids off has to be finished so we can do the youth services.
Right.
All right. This project seems like it's going on forever. Phyllis.
So, some good news in there, but I'm curious about the scope of all of our buildings.
Mhm.
Have we done like the Board of Ed just did for their schools?
Mhm.
That's what I'm looking for. Is some clear understanding after a review by people who know what they're doing of what the conditions and needs of all of our town-owned buildings, so that we can plan forward.
Yep. So we have a permanent municipal building committee that inspects our buildings all year long, and they make recommendations.
And they just
It's
to be
a
clear, they have the expertise to be
Yes.
able to.
our two maintainers for the town of Vernon are fantastic. I don't know if I say this enough. They save us. I think the life, it's hundreds of thousands over time, but they save us a lot of money, and they're very good. And if you guys, anybody that was on years ago when we bumped their pay up, because we're paying for what we get with these guys, they know our buildings, and they have a list. Any employees that work in the buildings, we have a system where you report when there's a problem in the building. And there were several breakdowns where instead of reporting it through the channels, they would just say something to a passing public works guy. And, that's not going to get to where it needs to get to. So so we have set up a system where they have to follow the system so that it gets on the work list. So we have a work list, and it's constantly moving. Years ago, I found out that there was a problem with our fire departments. So I brought all the captains, all the lieutenants in, and I said, what is going on? And we went through. So we put $25,000 a year into the budget, and we have fixed almost every single thing in our fire departments. The object is to number one, knowing that there's a problem. And the people that are going to know that the most are the people that are in the building. But they have to report it. And that's one of the themes that we do throughout our town. See it, report it. Okay? Because there's more eyes out there than there are up here. And you guys know that. So I think we've got a good evaluation system going through. I think building wise, we're in really good shape.
So, what I was partly getting at here was I would like that information. I mean, I don't need to know that a new faucet needs to go in somewhere, but structurally, I think the council should have that information and I don't know, annually maybe be updated on the condition of our buildings.
Well, you know what? Dwight should be bringing that at our council at our budget time, and that's the time to ask the questions. But you know what we can do? We can prepare him when he.
Yeah, I don't want to surprise him and say, by the way, you're here to talk about the budget, and I want this other information. So, yeah, that's a great solution.
But he brings in the different people with him, and we've been pushing it because it's a big department. But I think we can go over the list of what we've done and what's coming. But I think the budget time's the best time for that.
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bill.
So, to you, that sounds like a great idea. It would also be incorporated into that. It would be great to have some kind of look ahead for, like foreseeable planned maintenance. Like, if there's a building where we know the roof is end of life in 5 years, or things like that. Things where we know there are major repairs, major replacements, or upgrades required in a foreseeable time frame.
So anything that's a real big expense, we try to plan ahead. Like the vault, we've been putting money away for the vault for years now. We try to plan ahead, especially if it's something big.
Yeah, I think we all just want to be involved in the planning ahead.
Well, that's we just want you to. They want you to just pay for the plans ahead. No, you know, if it's something like that, what you have is you have your capital improvements plan. You have that. Okay, the capital improvements plan. If you look at it, it's got years. This is in your budget. It's got the years coming, and for the new people, you're going to get your books, and you'll see. Now, you're also going to notice that. So it says, "Hey, I need a new fire truck in 2021 or 2021. Oh my gosh, I'm really backing myself up here. 2027. Okay, and you're going to see it there. But all of a sudden, the fire department calls up and says, "Hey, this thing just died. If we can't fix it, we have the ability to move that around." Okay, but if you look at your budget book, that has a lot of information that you're looking for as well, and that capital improvements, it's all listed out there. Yeah. Mike.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Usually the department heads during the budget will have a foreseeable future, what they need done, like a new roof or so on and so forth, tennis courts at the high school, whatever. They'll have it outlined for, year 2027, 28, whatever. That's where you look at for your improvements in the future.
Tricia.
Thank you. So the RFP that was approved a while ago was to look at 5 buildings, you said?
No, the 4 buildings here.
4 buildings. And the 4 buildings, again, were the annex,
Town Hall,
Town
the
Hall,
old senior center, and
the fire station,
our new building. And all they're looking for is the
Citizens
pointing.
Block.
Citizens Block.
And was the committee that you talk about, were they charged also to look at those buildings as well? The public?
They look at all the buildings.
So that they look at all the buildings.
They look at all.
So the recommendation for the evaluation of the buildings that you just mentioned, did that come from that committee?
It did not. It came from me.
Came from you. All right. But we called in an outside company. Why?
For the RFP?
Correct. So we put out an RFP to evaluate these buildings, but yet we have a committee that has already evaluated them.
No. The RFP is for somebody to come in with the specialties. So you're coming in with a structural engineer. You're coming in with somebody who's an expert in the slate roofs. You're coming in with somebody who's an expert with the concrete. That committee they're not the experts. They're the ones evaluating the buildings, but they're not the experts that can come in and fix the building.
Right. So with that point in mind, I believe that's what Mrs. Winkler is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. And so I'm directing that to the chair. That's what I think I just heard.
We have the committee, and then we have our maintainers, and we have the workers in the buildings that are the ones that talk to us about problems. Our maintainers go through those buildings. They go through all of the electrical, heating, air conditioning, and these guys can fix it all too. Okay. If you want to pay for an RFP for every single building and bring somebody from the outside in, that's going to be very expensive.
Understood. There will be monies, but I think the conversation needs to at least start to take place.
Conversation about what?
A conversation regarding a facility study for the buildings that the town of Vernon owns.
If I could, yeah. So I heard what you said. We have Dwight's department is amazing, and the committee is, tasked with their task. But when I asked if they had that expertise, you sort of said, yes, they're great. They can do all this. And yet there are things that are beyond their expertise. It's not a criticism of them. We all have things we learned about and didn't. So that's what I'm wondering is beyond what Dwight and the committee and the people who work there, when was the last time the rest of our buildings were evaluated? They're evaluating these three, or four. When was the last time the rest of our buildings were evaluated?
Well, they're constantly evaluated. The reason that we're doing an RFP for these three buildings is because we're going to prepare for work, and we need the expertise, such as the engineers. We have an engineer on call anytime we have any questions, but this is specialty work that we're doing on these buildings. We don't have anybody that points. We tried to hire somebody, we couldn't hire anybody, so we constantly have to bring somebody in. And slate roofs, that's a different ball game altogether.
Right.
You know,
but I don't know if any of our other buildings have that. And our experience with Citizens Block, which looks absolutely amazing, but there were a number of things that were surprises to us. So I'm looking to resolve things so that we know in advance rather than, the problem with the basement in Citizens Block, the problem with the sidewalk in the back there, where I know it would cost money, but wouldn't it make sense to have somebody who has that expertise beyond what our guys have?
Well, let's take one building, for example, like a firehouse. So what, beyond the fact that we've replaced kitchens, bathrooms, and everything else, what are you looking for on that building that's different than what we normally do?
I don't know what structurally I wouldn't have thought there was an issue with the basement there or the sidewalk. They looked fine. So just like, before you buy a house, you have an inspector come in who knows what to look for. I don't honestly have a list of all the buildings we own. So that's what I'm looking for, is so that there isn't a surprise or a big problem that comes. Like if we hadn't found that problem in the basement at Citizens Block, who knows what that might have done to the building long term. So if we know in advance, then we can plan financially for it and not be surprised.
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying, but here, when you don't have a problem, but you want to pay somebody to go look for the problem, that's what I'm saying. So Citizens Block is a completely different. We gutted the whole building. And when we rebuilt it, if I was standing over there when we started to rebuild it, I would have said, I want those two walls replaced. Okay. The walls were checked by a structural engineer who said it was okay. And obviously it wasn't, because I don't think they took into account that there wouldn't be any moisture in the basement anymore. And we found it, thank goodness. But you're not going to have that in most of our regular buildings. Our two maintainers, I can't stress enough, if there's a problem with that building, these two guys are going to find it. Okay? These two guys are the ones that built all the structural stuff over here at Citizens Block. Why? Because they have the expertise. What I did years ago is anytime we hire somebody, I want to know what their background is. What did you do before? Were you a builder? Did you do piping? Did you do any, were you a plumber? We had a licensed plumber in town, didn't even know it. He's working in a different department. Well, now we knew. So if we have a plumbing issue and we say, hey, would you like to make some overtime to come do some plumbing work? It's open to him. This is what I want to know. We had a guy who was painting pools in his previous job, using a sandblaster and painting them. He's the guy that did community pool. Saved us a bunch of money. So we have quite the skilled workers in our town, and trust me, we use them all. In fact, with our shared services, we have the heating and air conditioning, the plumber, the electrician, the plumber, and the heating and air conditioning. Those three guys, we use those guys. They come over to our buildings as well. So
I'm agreeing with you.
You're talking about a deep dive in something that these guys already know the buildings. And there's not an issue with these buildings.
Okay. I am not arguing that. We have superior staff, and Dwight's incredible. And yet there were lots of surprises at Citizens Block, and that's what I'm trying to avoid with any of our other buildings.
But that's a different, that building has been vacant since 1999. Well, there's been people, but the water's been getting into that building since 1999. Water is the worst enemy of a building.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why fixing our roofs is the most important thing. Or if we have water coming through a basement. All right. And that's what was happening over there. All right. And that's what caused all the problems. But that thing is gutted. All the water issues have been fixed. Well, when we were putting the sidewalk in, we found another one. And somebody many years ago used this black paper stuff to try and keep the water out. Put it up against the wall. We took that out and we actually put a 6-inch slab of cement up the wall so that no water's ever getting in there again. That's a surprise, but we didn't dig that out. But when we find a problem, I'm the type of person, I don't want a Band-Aid. I want to fix the problem so that that building is going to be around for another 100 years. And when we're talking about the vault, yeah, we're talking about the vault, but I want to look at the whole building. If we're going in and doing massive amounts of work, let's look at the whole building. What else needs to be done in that building? If we go in and we're going to do a major renovation in another building, then that's the time. We're already interrupting the lives of that building. Is there anything else in that building that needs to be done? I think we have 7 roofs going up next year, something like that, 6 or 7 roofs, and that's coming from state money. So we keep, trust me when I say this, we're keeping, you can't compare Citizens Block to the rest of our buildings.
Okay. Could we have a list of all of the town-owned properties then?
The buildings?
Yeah, buildings.
You don't want the properties. We own
No,
these
the
little
building.
tiny squares everywhere
Yeah.
that I've been trying to get rid of forever. Well, if you got a little square next to your house and you want that land for free, we'll give it to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a facility study would also assess the functionality of the building, correct? Not necessarily things that are broken or leaking or things such as that, but it also assesses the functionality of the building so that it is able to serve the purpose that it was intended. Is that correct?
Yeah. Then the department heads will tell me if it services them as well.
So I'd like to have information from an outside agency to give the council and inform the council on the functionality of the buildings that we have.
Right. I think this is going to be a further discussion because I think we're kind of leaving this where we are right now. But that can be a massive price tag.
It could be, but we can have a discussion.
We can have a
We're not
discussion.
saying that we're going to move in this direction,
No.
but just a discussion about perhaps would that be beneficial to the town of Vernon to have somebody come in and say, let's just look at the functionality of the buildings that we own. Would that be beneficial? And here's the price tag. Oh my goodness, we can't afford that, right? Or maybe we can phase it out somehow.
All right. Marion.
I'm not sure if some of our members are aware, but we not only have, there's a capital improvements committee that happens once a year, but there is a group and it's capital something. I don't know if anybody can help me out with the wording, but they go through each and every one of our buildings. I think there's a group of maybe 5 or 7 people along with Dwight and then maybe the department head of the building or whatever, but they actually write very detailed reports. And from those reports, Parks and Rec may be doing some work or the Public Works is doing it, our maintainers, but that is the first bell that's going to go off to let them know we have a problem within the building. So I don't know if you have seen it, but thanks.
Right. Phyllis.
Thank you. Through you to Marianne. Are you talking about the BAA?
No,
No.
that's the
You
board.
got to talk to me.
Sorry.
Okay. She was referencing.
That is the permanent municipal building committee.
Thank you.
Yep. And most of those members have been on that forever.
Yeah.
But it is true. We incorporate the people in the building. I think we're looking for a problem that's not there.
No, we want to look to find out.
I'm not talking.
we
I'm
don't
talking
need.
about what we're talking about here, not the committee, because you cannot compare Citizens Block to any of our current buildings in town. Citizens Block was a 1868.
1866, I believe.
So it's an old building that we rehabbed that's been empty for a long time, and all of our buildings we've been keeping up. In fact, during my term, we've done probably a lot more work on these buildings than in the past because they need to be functional. But again, it comes down to if you have a problem, you got to pass it through the chain as well. And there was one department that really wasn't doing that, and that's been solved.
So you will be talking to Dwight, so he'll be prepared for budget season that we
Yep.
will have questions.
Yep.
But prior to that, could somebody prepare a list of all the buildings the town owns?
Yeah, we can pull that list.
Thanks.
But it's bigger than the hospitals. Now you don't want when we say a list. Well, we look at Camp New Haka. They got a bunch of sheds. They got the main building and a bunch of. You don't want all the sheds too. Okay. All right, because we have a lot of there's a bathroom house, there's this and that. Okay. You want the main buildings. All right. Yeah.
One more question, please. Yeah, I've been in this town, my whole life, and a lot of our buildings are old, and I think we're running into that problem now with our schools. We have a lot of older school buildings, and I think what they're getting at is when they talk about the functionality. Okay, a company or our employees, they go through, they look at things. Okay, this needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. Whatever. Company comes in and says, okay, this. But just as an example. Say the company, our guys go through, okay, the police department, we need to fix this door, these lights, let's go to LEDs here, this. But then another company comes in and looks at all the infrastructures and says, okay, yeah, there's some things that need to be fixed, but this station is outdated. You can't function anymore with your town, your residents, your population much longer with this building. You either have to expand it or redo it. I think that's probably what they're getting at. At some point, you outgrow your schools, or you outgrow your building, or you outgrow whatever. Just a kind of a feasibility study, if something like that. Maybe that's what they're looking for. Just my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Patricia.
So I want to thank Mr. Wendes. I'm sorry.
I think you're on
Through the
number
mayor.
4 or 5 now. So.
Through the mayor, I want to thank Mr. Wendes. I think he said it far better than I did.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? No. All right. Let's move on to the next one. The new pickleball courts. So, pickleball is an interesting thing because you get the noise of a pickleball court's noisy. Okay. And thankfully, at that last meeting, we had the people come up with the signatures of everybody on Fox Hill Drive.
Yeah.
So we can paint that court now. We're going to. But what we're gonna the idea is going to be we'll put them on both sides, but we're going to leave one as tennis, one as pickleball, and then obviously if somebody wants to talk to public or Parks and Rec and switch one for the day, that's fine. The superintendent, when they do the court up at the high school, they want to turn 2 into pickleball. Our plan has been, now that soccer has moved for the most part to their new home, we have an open field in the middle of the woods that has an entranceway to it. We're going to enhance the entrance a little bit, and we're going to put pickleball up in the middle of that wooded area. That has been the plan in my head, the plan is pretty good, but as it goes, I find new things every single day. And I got to change some of them here and there. But if you do your research on how noisy pickleball is, number one, the people who play pickleball don't realize how noisy it is. It's the people who live next to them realizes how noisy it is. And It's a wooden pallet hitting a plastic ball on a asphalt surface. And I had no clue. When this whole thing when everybody's talking about pickleball, I had no clue how noisy it was until one of the neighbors of somebody was trying to point out a spot, and one of the neighbors says, absolutely not. So I started doing research. And the first thing that pops up is the villages in Florida where people say, if you buy a house near the pickleball court, you're going to go crazy because they have like 8 courts going at the same time. And you have to just realize that noise. And they're starting early in the morning and they're playing all day long. So the idea was to find a spot that's not used anymore in the town of Vernon, which is there's not a whole heck of a lot of them. And, I've had my eye on one in the woods that won't create that problem. And that's the idea. Phyllis.
Thank you. Thinking back to when my daughter played soccer, there were fields up in that Tallwood neighborhood where they would practice.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what
That's the one I'm talking about.
is that not designated open space? And would this violate?
Well, that's the idea to put it there. Everything has to be looked at from open space through. And we have to ask, would a court be open space? And if that's not the case, I have not done the research yet because we're not even near that yet. And if not, we've got to find some other place. And there's not many spots left except, the tennis courts at Henry Park and the ones at the high school. We also have a paid one at the old Sears Hardware. And we have at least one outdoor court at the senior center. And with the new indoor, there's probably going to be painted for an indoor in the new building as well in the off times.
Thank you.
Yep. Good.
Through you, Mayor. I think it's a great idea for all ages to participate in any sports activities. I'm all for that. My only one question is liability from the town if someone gets hurt. Because now you're talking about lawsuits and things like that, which will actually extend to the.
We actually have the state law that we have some protections.
We have protections.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I knew a little bit more what those protections were, but okay, Dan. Thank you.
Trust me, walking down a sidewalk, if we own the sidewalk. So, all right, good.
Thank you. Through you, the mayor. So as I was out campaigning and talking with residents, what I heard was a lot of people wanting town pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know that there's stuff at the senior center, but still looking for more of that opportunity. And also shared with them the facility that we have here in town that you have to pay for. They would prefer it to be no cost. And I hear what you're saying about the noise, but I am hearing from the residents that they really would like a pickleball court. If we have the residents around the park indicating that they're okay with it, and you have said it's going to be really noisy, are we able to do something at Henry Park and get those?
That's what I just said we were doing.
So we're going to do that. But when would we expect that to be completed?
When the lines can be painted, and you can't paint them until the weather's nicer.
So more towards the springtime.
Yep.
Okay. So the residents could expect that sometime in the spring.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Bill.
To you. So now that I'm retired, I think I'm going to be legally compelled to start playing pickleball. but so far, I'm more a tennis player than a pickleball player. So I just want to confirm, I think I know this is true, but that painting the pickleball lines on the tennis court does not mean it can't be used for tennis, correct?
So they're going to be multi-painted. So you're going to have the tennis and the pickleball painted.
Correct. That's what I thought. Thank you.
Right. That's the plan. And both of them will be, but we'll have a net up for each one of them. Mike.
Just a question through you, Mayor. Can we expand on the pickleball court at the senior center?
There's not enough room.
Not enough room there?
Nope.
Okay. I was just curious. Thank you.
Tao.
So what's the priority when you have a multi-use court like that?
Henry Park.
Whatever you want to do,
Yeah, we'll have to.
have a tennis court. So how would you resolve that? I mean, I don't think it's going to be up to the player themselves, right? Those who want to play tennis one day, and they come up there and it's not.
There's going to be two nets. There'll be a racquetball side and a tennis side. And if you get more than one person that wants to play, they'll have to approach Parks and Rec. That facility was built for tennis.
Right.
I think there was money put towards it way back when. So we don't want to take that opportunity away. Do a lot of tennis players go up there and play? I don't know. A lot of them go to high school. I know that. And I don't see people up there playing. But, you don't want to take one sport away for another sport.
That's my ask.
Yeah.
How would you resolve that when a conflict like that comes up?
That's Parks and Rec's job. But there'll be one setup for tennis and one setup for pickleball up there because there's two different sides. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else? Okay, let's move on to what's the next one.
Update on Keynote.
All right, so I just met with the individual from Keynote today, and I have really he's got some homework he's got to do. I was supposed to meet with him earlier, but we had to put it off. So they have a lawyer involved, so that's where I'm going to leave it. Okay, because I have to. All right, and I'm not even going to ask for questions on that. Sorry,
No,
guys.
but I would just like to be updated as appropriate.
As
I
appropriate.
understand
As
with
appropriate.
legal issues.
I just had the meeting today. If I knew that he had an attorney involved, I wouldn't have put this on. Okay. And you just got to realize that different times that can happen. All right. Let's go down to minutes.
The town council? The town council waives the reading of the minutes of the regular town council meeting December 2nd, 2025, and moves to approve said minutes.
Seconded by Mike. Are there any corrections or deletions? So even though if you're not here, you can still vote yes or no on this. All right. Just so everybody understands that. All right. All right. All those in favor? Okay. Okay. Bill's abstaining. Everybody else is yes. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded by Laura. All those in favor? Unanimous.
Party time.
All right. There are some couple of snacks in my office.